Okay, and are you ready to go? Wow. So, we're ready to start recording? Hello, and welcome to the 11/11 Mother Mary monthly message. Thank you so much for being here on this profound and amazing day. It's Veterans Day, a day to really honor and celebrate all of those who served and their family and friends who have sacrificed so much and continue to do so. About 8 years ago, I recorded a video, and it's on Facebook for any of you that would like to watch it. With the help of Regina in Vegas and her media guy, we put together a beautiful message from Mother Mary with pictures of service people. And it's truly makes me cry every time. So if you haven't had a chance to see it, it's on Facebook in the Mother Mary Messages Facebook page. I'm now in Kauai, as many of you know, and I arrived about 10 days ago to a beautiful home. And it's been my dream for a long time to be here, and at the same time, it seemed to just not ever go together. And I had surrendered. I just said, okay, Mom, you're my travel agent. We'll go wherever. And it seemed like as soon as I just gave it up, it all just unfolded. And yet when I arrived, what Mother Mary has been telling me, and I know she'll speak directly to you all in just a few minutes, is that part of the reason for me to be in Kauai right now, along with many other people who are stationed at various power points on the planet, is that there is a need right now to really mend the grid, to mend the light grid that so many of us work with. So many of us who are light workers use Reiki and use energy and send prayers, and it's kind of like a beautiful web of light. And what she was saying is that it needs to also now be connected to the earth, so that instead of having just sort of all of our prayers go up, which is how most people generally see it, it's time to have them go up and then come back down. So we are connecting with our soul stars chakra and our earth star chakra. And at the same time, if you think of the metaphor, it's really true that the earth has an earth star chakra and a soul star chakra, the purpose of the earth that is trying to be birthed and born. And that many of us are being invited to go to places and to do our very best to just be a light. It doesn't mean we necessarily have to, open as a healing center or start something or whatever, but what it really means is that we are meant to hold a vibrational field that is powerful and positive and see and envision those things that we would like to have occur. And so I've been spending a lot of time kind of just meditating on that and being with that. And where I am, the legend of the actual street that I'm on and the location of the river that I'm on is that in the Native belief system, it's the birthing canal for humanity. And so here am I at the birthing canal, hopefully helping to be the midwife to not only the people that are being born, but also to the new spirit that is being born, hopefully all over the world. So it's an exciting time to be here, and I'm really feeling blessed. And part of the reason when I put out the call, I invited so many of you to participate is because each of you, I believe, are you're stationed wherever you are to be a light bringer and a light bearer wherever you are. And so toward the end of our time together today, I want to be able to have us join and imagine, there's Barbara in Sedona, there's Lee in Sedona, there's Paula, in Denver, etc. Just imagine that we're connecting these filaments of light with each other, with the earth, and also with its purpose, with its soul star chakra. So I think that's going to be pretty exciting also. So again, thank you so much for being here. It means the world to me to see you, to feel you, to remember the amazing moments that we've already had together and the moments yet to come. And so it's my honor and privilege at this time to bring forth a message from Mother Mary. So I'm just going to ring my beautiful Tibetan bowl. Well, hello to all my beloveds. Big, big hugs and kisses to all of you. And you might think, well, Mother Mary, you probably weren't that demonstrative when you were living in the times that you lived. And maybe I wasn't. But part of all of you is evolution. Think evolution. Humanity is evolving, albeit slowly, perhaps more slowly than we all might like sometimes, just as each of you are evolving. And so what was perfect for you a year ago or a month ago or even yesterday might or might not be serving you in the times yet to come. You're evolving. And so if you begin to realize, why is this not working for me, might not be the right question. It might simply be, this is not working for me. There must be something better. So in other words, rather than letting your mind begin to think that there's something wrong with you, perhaps it's time to consider that there's something out of kilter with whatever it is that is happening. And so if you think of evolution as coming into your highest potential, coming into your lightest being, coming into your star body would be one way to look at it. What does that really involve? How do you do it? You know, it's sort of like that didn't come with a manual when you were born, right? Like, where's the manual for that? But I want to give you a couple of suggestions because evolution can be hard on the body. It can be hard on the body because the body's saying, wait a minute, what's going on? What's going on? Because your physicality is sort of the last to get the memo, right? Your heart and mind get the memo and you start on a certain course of events, but the body sort of lags behind sometimes. So one of the most important practices that you can do right now is to find a beautiful place in nature that is carrying the highest vibration for you. It may or may not be right for someone else, but when you go to this place, sit under that tree, look at that mountain, feel that cliff, you know, whatever it happens to be. If it feels uplifting to you, it is part of how nature and the earth are trying to support your evolution. Understanding that, I want you to add one more piece to it. Too many times, you know, several of you live in a beautiful place like Sedona. And I'm sure you've experienced sometimes people go there hungry, right? Give me some energy, give me some energy, give me some energy. And therefore the land will often withhold its mana, saying, no, no. And therefore there's sort of a disparity between what the person is hoping to get and what they receive. So when you go out to your favorite place, go with gratitude. Say, thank you, beautiful tree. Thank you, amazing brook. Thank you, beautiful flowers. Thank you, waterfall, you know, whatever it is. Because now what you're doing, rather than reaching for something that you believe in the moment you don't have, you are joining your evolutionary energy with this beautiful place in nature that carries for you a frequency of joy. So by doing that, you're going to be fed without in any way taking from nature, right? You're giving back. This is something the native peoples have always understood, but again, in most cultures today, it's sort of a lost art. So when you go with gratitude and you sit there and bask in the beauty of whatever you've chosen, what you're doing is on a cellular level, you are shifting whatever is lagging behind and encouraging those cells that all is well and that you're going to be living more and more in this place of beautiful light. And so it's really going to provide you with something extraordinary. And again, by going in gratitude, you're not just taking, you're giving and receiving, giving and receiving. And so by doing that as often in any given week as you can, what you begin to do is you leave behind a sense of loss or a sense of not being all together. You become more of who you are meant to be. So finding a place in nature is truly just so vital these days. The second thing that I want to sort of remind you about today is that the power that you have inside you is much greater than you are using. What? What I mean by that is the power that you have inside you, your essence, your being, your energy, your love, can be directed toward any positive goal or positive purpose that you choose. People for many years now have prayed to me, you know, Mother Mary, fix this, Mother Mary, fix that, Mother Mary, why is this happening? I'm not in charge of your world. You are. What I do, I hear every prayer. And what I send to you is the energy of hope and inspiration. So perhaps you're feeling like, oh my goodness, you know, whether it's about the election or it's about the children or it's about healthcare or, you know, whatever it is. And you're feeling like, how could this possibly change? In that moment, what you're doing is you're abdicating your authority to make a difference. So instead, if you're concerned about healthcare or the children or the planet or whatever, what you do is you summon some of the energy you got from your time in nature. And you know, many people practice Reiki. You may practice another form of energy healing, whatever you decide to do. But what you do is you envision the highest and best energy creating the highest and best solution. It's amazing what can happen. So what you're doing is you're summoning this energy of light that is who you are. And you're saying, go forth and create the highest and best consequence or result or creation for this situation. And there's a part 2 to that. After you do that, something may awaken in you that says, I need to write an email, or I need to have a whole bunch of people over to my living room and we'll have coffee and cake and tea or whatever. And what we're going to do is brainstorm. What would a solution look like? And even though in this moment you might think that's overwhelming, where does innovation come from? It comes from the creative mind unleashed. The creative mind, instead of saying, oh my God, isn't it awful? The creative mind says, what if? What if? What if? What if? And so much of this next year, as you move yourselves into 2020, is all about moving out of any aspect of despair or doubt or difficulty into, I choose to make a difference. I choose to add my beautiful light. Hello, Francois, my beauty. And so what you're doing is, instead of sort of sitting in the energy of despondent, unhappy, angry, just feeling overwhelmed, you bring in some good friends and you put out some lovely food, make it a potluck, whatever you like. And you say, let's come up with the wildest ideas we can think of, because one or two of them might be things we could actually do. That's what made Barbara write a book. You just don't know. But again, what's happening now is that all of you are being invited in this evolution to come into a place of, I guess I'll just say, responsibility, the ability to respond, to take whatever's happening and say, all right, what could we do? What might we do that would alleviate the situation and provide more love and more possibility? I think that the next part of understanding who you are and why you've come is that your human story, where you were born, where you grew up, who did this, who did that, what happened, all of that, becomes sort of a chapter that's complete. It's sort of like, well, okay, that was that. And now I'm a sovereign soul. What does that mean? It still means you have your family and friends and husbands and wives and whatever, but what it really means is that you recognize that your power is huge. Your power is huge. And so to choose to use it in the ways that feel right to you, that feel uplifting to you, that feel exciting to you, that is the next possibility. Now, I want to contrast that a little bit with what you might be seeing on television. So you see all sorts of abuses of power. And then you see all sorts of people rebelling against that abuse of power. But what you don't see is the solutions that lie between. So let me give you an example from history. So on the day that the Emancipation Proclamation was put out and the slaves were freed, can you imagine for a moment if you've always grown up as a slave and your family's a slave and your children are slaves, and they say to you, okay, you're free, go for it. Can you imagine the identity crisis, the gratitude, but also, well, what will we do? Where will we live? How will we earn money? How can we be free? What does that mean to not be enslaved? And so what I'm saying to you at this moment in your evolution, you are now receiving your Emancipation Proclamation. You're freed from being enslaved by any idea that you are not a powerful and beautiful creator. And so in the confusion of that, sometimes it takes a little time. Well, who am I? Who am I if I'm not enslaved as well? It's always been this way and you don't understand, and you know, I have bills to pay, and you know, whatever your arguments might be. But the reality is, just as those slaves are now senators and congressmen and doctors and lawyers and, you know, fathers and mothers and wonderful, wonderful people all over, there's a journey that one has to take. And the journey is, I've gotten my freedom. What will I do with it? And that's really your question from the end of this year and into next year. You have your freedom. What do you want to do with it? How do you want to use it as a creative modality in the world? And my thought for that is, again, as you sit in nature and commune and receive, what happens is your mind stops operating in a 3D linear way. And so when you think about most of the stories of enlightenment happened, you know, under a tree, right? Sitting under a tree, woo, enlightenment. Well, that's not really a mistake. Enlightenment doesn't happen because you studied a book or because you're a good person. It happens because you take ownership of your inheritance from God. And you sit with that and you say, okay. And when you're under a beautiful tree or by a brook or river or whatever suits you, the very cells in your body remember who you are and what you came to do and how you came to be. And so it is a profound experience, one I hope you all begin to really gobble up as you're also saying thank you. I want to, there was one other thing I had Samara make a note. Oh, yes. Today she asked me for some notes before. You know, usually I don't give her anything, but I was being kind. We were talking about how do we evolve, and we talked about the nature. But the other thing I want to leave you with for today is something I think will also be easy to remember. If you think of your thoughts and your mind like the genie in the bottle and the man calling forth the genie or woman. And here's what I mean by that. If you say to the universe, I'm too old, the genie says, as you wish. If you say, I don't have a degree, so I can't do that, the genie says, as you wish. If you say, well, you know, I would try that, but I don't have that kind of money, the genie says, as you wish. So wouldn't it be a lot more fun to say to the genie, I'm ready to have my dream come true. I'm ready to be a force of love in the world. I'm ready to have vibrant health and well-being all the days of my life. And to that, the genie will also say, as you wish. So in these coming days, watch your thoughts. You all have that genie. You all have that genie. So what is it you want the genie to say, as you wish? And for many years, Samara has been saying, it's interesting. I want to share a secret she might not have told you. She was saying, I would love to live in Hawaii, but I wouldn't be able to do my work. So the universe said, as you wish. And finally, once she was introduced to Zoom by Tammy, thank you so much, it was like, I can live in Hawaii and do my work. And the genie said, as you wish. So I'm going to ask in a moment for Tammy to stop the recording for everyone who might listen to this later on. But I want to say also to all the veterans and their families and their friends, we are doing everything we can to bring you home. Everything. But in the meantime, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.